right. I'm Carol. I work at the Nairobi Peace Initiative Africa, which is the regional secretariat for GPAC in the Eastern and Central Africa region. I'm the regional liaison officer for that particular region. Um, Working at Nairobi Peace Initiative Africa, first and foremost as a peace resource organization, is a motivation in itself because of the wealth of information and practice that the organization has had, and being right at the center of the source of information and practices that are appreciated not just within the country but in the continent and now also across different continents is something I consider to be an honor. I am motivated to work in the area of peace, knowing very well that it is a very wide area and it could be a very ambitious thing for peace builders or people who are aspiring for peace in different areas or different regions to reach out for. But I believe that every individual, whatever one does, in whichever small way, does contribute towards the many efforts to reach out for peace. I am moved very much by women and children particularly, given that it has been said and it has been shown evidently they are the great sufferers of conflicts in many areas. And as a worker, as a mother, that does touch my heart so much, because the brothers, the sisters, the fathers, those who go out to the war fields are somebody's children, somebody's child. And if it were possible to have peace in those areas, then families wouldn't have to break up, families wouldn't have to lose their loved ones in such violent conflicts that do take place. Of course, we know conflict is a part of life, but what kind of conflict is it, and how do we manage it, how do we resolve it? And it trickles down right to the family level, not just in country levels or regional levels. And for me, that is a starting point. So starting it from where I am, from my family, from the community in which I live, if I am able to learn something that can enhance the peace in the area that I live or where I work, it's a valuable lesson to take. At the NPI Africa, we have different programs. We have the peacemaking, peace building, healing and reconciliation program. We have capacities for peace program. We have the research, learning and policy program. All of these are geared towards finding what are the current trends of peace or conflicts in different regions, and how can the organization be involved, and how can it participate, how can it contribute towards making things better for any given community. NPI Africa works with different communities within the country and has done so even outside of the country, giving specific training which can be tailor-made depending on the needs at the moment in a given area. We've worked with pastoralists, we've worked with women, we've worked with other institutions jointly, creating a peace building institute, for example, that takes place every year. One training in Nairobi, another training in Congo DRC for the Francophone participants, looking at the whole issue of conflict prevention or conflict resolution or conflict mapping, conflict transformation. What does it mean to those various communities? One outstanding thing about the trainings and the workshops, after doing them, then what? We do not necessarily abandon those communities. What it is the people who are trained become our contact points with the various communities, and as and when the need arises and they need NPI Africa to go back and retrain or work with them through some of those programs or give them new tools, further equip them in the work they do with regards to peace building, then NPI comes into play again. And we have what we call the accompaniment program. Accompaniment program meaning after training and giving the necessary tools to those various people who are trained, you let them take ownership of the programs, you let them take ownership of the process, so it becomes theirs and them to look for their solutions as opposed to one coming to impose it on them. But when they do call back on NPI Africa, or as and when we're in the region, you're able to come back to them and say, we're still in solidarity with you, how are you doing? How are you faring on? What are the areas that you feel are working or are not working? How else can we help? So they take ownership, but we are accompanying them in those processes so that those processes do not die. Otherwise, the training would have been futile. So being a part of GPAC, it is a wonderful thing to know that you're part of a bigger family that is working towards peace building, that is working towards conflict prevention, though it may seem like a tall order. But given that you're a part of NPI Africa is part of a bigger family that is globally, you know, to use lack of a better word to use, structured, a network that is worldwide, that can touch on different lives in different places, even if they are not seeing you personally or physically there, is an inspiring thing, because one organization on its own is not able to do so much even within the country that it's based in. But when you know you have the support, albeit whether it's financial, whether it's material, whether it is moral support from the rest of the network, that does encourage and motivate, and you know that you can get the support or you can get expertise from and it means more resources in terms of experts who have worked in that field from different parts of the world. Being a part of GPAC has not only given credibility, further credibility to the organization as it were, but has shown that the relationships or the networks that are created within the continent and even outside the continent are working towards achieving something that is greater, something that goes beyond just the individual organization or a person. It's about reaching out to lives from across the globe in ways that would not have been possible if you are only doing it as an individual organization. It means adding an extra voice where it is needed to express the need for peace, the need for peaceful coexistence in communities that are so diverse in different communities. And it's not just about people meeting people, but people meeting people, whether physically or through or electronically, to look for a way that would create common understanding or a level of peaceful existence, coexistence for that matter, given the diverse nature of people living in different countries. And given also the possibility to interact at very high national policy level, or being able to participate and contribute in regional intergovernmental organizations, or being able to work further with the UN agencies or such agencies that have contacts or resources to work in different areas, makes us proud that we can contribute in any small way to make peace not just a dream, but possibly an ideal that can come to pass. Yeah.